Now when the queen of Sheba heard of the fame of Solomon concerning the name of the Lord, she came to test him with hard questions. She came to Jerusalem with a great retinue, with camels bearing spices, very much gold and precious stones. And when she came to Solomon, she told him all that was in her mind. And Solomon answered all her questions. There was nothing hidden from the king that he could not explain to her. And when the queen of Sheba had seen all the wisdom of Solomon and the house that he had built, the food on his table, the seating of his officials, the attendance of his servants, their clothing, his cupbearers, and his burnt offerings that he offered at the house of the Lord, there was no more breath in her. And she said to the king, the report was true. I heard in my own land in your words and of your wisdom, and I did not believe the reports until I came and saw my own eyes had seen it. And behold, the half was not told me. Your wisdom and prosperity surpasses the reports that I heard. Happy are your men, happy are your servants who continually stand before you and hear your wisdom. Blessed be the Lord your God, who has delighted in you and set you on the throne of Israel, because the Lord loved Israel forever. He made you king, that you may execute justice and righteousness. Then she gave the king 120 talents of gold and a very great quantity of spice and precious stones. Never again came such an abundance of spice as these that the queen of Sheba gave to King Solomon. Moreover, the fleet of Hiram, which brought him gold from Ophir, brought from Ophir a great amount of almug wood and precious stones. And the king made of the almug wood supports for the house of the Lord and for the king's house. Also lyres and harps for the singers. No such almug wood was come or has been seen to this day. And King Solomon gave to the queen of Sheba all that she desired, whatever she asked, besides what was given to her by the bounty of King Solomon. So she turned and went back to her own land with her servants. Now the weight of gold that came to Solomon in 1 year was 666 talents of gold, besides that which came from the explorers and the businesses of the merchants and all the kings of the west and the governors of the land. King Solomon had 200 large shields of beaten gold. 600 shekels of gold went into each shield, and he made 300 shields of beaten gold. 300 minas of gold went into each shield, and the king put them in the house of the forest of Lebanon. The king also made a great ivory throne and overlaid it with the finest gold. The throne had 6 steps, and the throne had a round top, and on each side of the seat was armrests, and 2 lions standing beside the armrests, while 12 lions stood there, one on each end of a step on the 6 steps, the like of which was never made in any kingdom. All King Solomon's drinking vessels were of gold. All the vessels of the house of the forest of Lebanon were of pure gold. None were made of silver. Silver was not considered as anything in the days of Solomon. For the king had a fleet of ships of Tarshish at sea with the fleet of Hiram, one each one every 3 years. Once every 3 years, a fleet of ships of Tarshish used to come, bringing gold, silver, ivory, apes, and peacocks. Thus King Solomon excelled all the kings of the earth in riches and in wisdom, and the whole earth sought the presence of Solomon to hear his wisdom, which God had put into his mind. Every one of them brought this present, articles of silver and gold, garments, myrrh, spices, horses, and mules, so much every year by year. And Solomon gathered together chariots and horsemen. He had 1,400 chariots and 12,000 horsemen, whom he stationed in the chariot cities with the king in Jerusalem. And the king made silver as common in Jerusalem as stone, and he made cedar as plentiful as the sycamore of Shephelah. And Solomon's import of horses was from Egypt and Kew, and king's traders received them from Kew at a price. A chariot could be imported from Egypt for 600 shekels of silver, and a horse for 150. And through the king's traders they were exported to all the kings of the Hittites and the kings of Syria. 1 Kings chapter 10.